some pretty exciting times happening there. It turns out that Tony Abbott feels confronted by the burqa. Did we all hear this? Tony feels confronted by the burqa. He also said earlier that he feels confronted by gay men, and I think that's interesting. I do. I don't know whether, some people say it's homophobic, some people say it's racist, I don't know whether it's either of those things. All I know is that I don't think you get to go around saying you feel confronted by things when the entire country has seen the outline of your balls. I think that should be a rule. Great man, Wilson Tuckey. Great man. He came out and said that he didn't like Indigenous dances. He didn't like the opening ceremonies because, he basically, Abbott came out and said he thought they were patronising, which is interesting, isn't it? I'm sure Aborigines all around the country are grateful for Tony Abbott coming out and saying it's patronising on their behalf. Right? I think that's great. But I also think with Wilson Tuckey, though, because Wilson gave the uncensored version, which was like, I don't feel a need for anyone to come here and tell me that I can be on my land, right? And look, that's not an exact quote, but it's basically an exact quote, right? And then you complain that a lot of them are fat, which is interesting, isn't it? Because I like my racism bitchy, Anyway, I think Wilson Tuckey should be able to say whatever comes into his head. Because in 1967, Wilson Tuckey got his nickname Iron Bar when he almost beat to death an Aboriginal man with a length of steel pole. The guy needs an outlet. Can an ethnic group get an AVO against a person? I don't know. I think we need one, though. I think we need one in this particular case. I think it's a pretty clear case for it. There was a couple of interesting incidents recently. There was a race that didn't happen, Eastern Nats, and everyone got outraged. And so they bashed a Bob Jane T-Mart, which is odd. Oh yeah, fucking sponsor that pulled out, let's bash it. But what happened, what was interesting though, was actually a month later, right? So one of these dudes, a dude who bashed a Bob Jane T-Mart, literally, the video was literally these guys running up and just hitting a window with poles. Like, it wasn't very effective riding, do you know what I mean? Like, they weren't particularly, they weren't going through building after building. It's just this video of these guys bashing pole on glass going, Rah! And it's not obvious that, it was either this or play WWE at home on the PlayStation, right? Anyway, what happened? What actually happened was one of these chaps he looked like he was a Muslim, he was of Middle Eastern appearance, and he and his father were leaving the magistrate's court, right? And they got followed by a Channel 9 cameraman who wouldn't leave them alone. This was kind of all on Media Watch, you may have seen it on there, right? And they wouldn't leave them alone. And so the dad gets really, really angry because they're kind of harassing his son. So the cameraman calls the dad a fucking terrorist. Yeah. Now, see, the great thing about the cynical nature of the media is that cameraman had been followed by another cameraman. So all this was caught on film. Good times are good news, hey, right? But then there was this inspired moment, probably my favourite moment of the last year of Australian television, right? Where these two guys, this guy who's just left the magistrate's court, runs back with his dad to get a cop to arrest the cameraman, right? And then dresses the cameraman down and explains why he's a disgrace. It was basically like, mate, seriously, just because he's got a beard, you think he's a terrorist? Huh? Is that it? Is that what the fuck's going on? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is the state of this country when someone has a beard and they're a Muslim and they're a terrorist? Like, man, fuck, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. What's amazing about that is that this is a guy who, for recreation, he smashes car repair stores. And he's completely right. Isn't that fucking amazing? Like, seriously, bogans are the conscience of our media. Like,